It's no problem to hold you, tongue stroke you, please you like I'm supposed to. Touch spots that ain't ever been touched, and I won't stop till both these squirrels get they nuts. Hey, you know it's good when we freakin', king size squeaking after I ease in. If you was with me, baby, 24/7, best believe that every single day would be a sweet day. Girl, you sweeter than a cheesecake. If you want beef, prophecy will be a beefcake. I make love to you till you fall asleep, leave you with sweet dreams between the sheets.
Lady, I want you. Every time I see you, I just wanna kiss you and hold you. Take you to my place, candlelight dinner. Then I start.
What's good, everybody? It's man Big Down coming live at another True Players podcast episode. Got my guest with me, Miss Nadia, with me. We're gonna talk about, is it okay for your best friend to is it okay that you're it's okay if it's okay for your significant other to have a best friend who is of the opposite sex. We got Miss Nadia with me. We would chat it up before we start the podcast about it. We got some ideas out there. So Miss Nadia, introduce yourself to the people.
My name is Nadia. I'm a real estate agent. I also have a nonprofit organization that's called Father Daddy Issues that help women out who has daddy issues.
Okay. We're going to continue what we were talking about offline in regards to this subject. It's been a very heavy subject. We got some ideas out in the open. And for everyone there is it okay for you to have a significant other who has a best friend of the opposite sex? And in my opinion, I would not be happy with it. But if it came about that in the beginning, like depending on how the relationship started, I would be comfortable with it to a degree, but not to the full degree. It all depends how the relationship starts amongst the both of them. And Nadia, what do you think about that?
Yes, that's how I feel. But like I was saying before, I feel that if there's an attraction there from the beginning, that it might cause a problem, especially if that person get friend zoned. So when I had put it up on my stories and I asked the question, I had majority of people say that it's hard for a male and a female to be best friends. Now, a lot of guys was in my DM and they were saying that, some of them did have female best friends, but a lot of them did say if they had that opportunity, if they did not get friend zoned, they would definitely jump for the opportunity, and some of them been friends for years.
That's true. I mean, I believe I would agree with you. I probably would jump at the opportunity also, only if I didn't have somebody else available. If I'm if I'm involved with somebody else, I can't entertain that at all. I can't. Especially, it all depends how I was friend zoned as well. Right. If I was friend zoned and like, real talk, not trying to, try to play me and stuff like that, then I probably would be more open to if she came back at me, like, let's try to make this work. But if she try to, throw dirt on my name, try to shit on me while she's telling me we want to be friends, no, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm good.
Like I was saying before, a lot of times, people start off as friends, right? And then they become lovers. And this is the thing. You see this happen all the time. So what I was saying to begin with was, if my man felt a certain way about me having a male best friend, I would understand that. Now, I agree with you when you was like, maybe it's insecurity on his part. I agree with that. But at the same time, like I said, if it depends how it started, because if it started where he was attracted to me and I did friend zone him, I can understand why my man would not want me to be friends with him like that too, because I'm not going to say it's 100%, but I feel like if me giving him any opportunity for that, for me to open up that door, if I give him that opportunity, I think that he would jump in. So this is the problem. And same thing with a male having a female best friend, because you might have some females who might, especially nowadays, you got females that try to talk to guys,
Oh yeah.
And it's like, there's some guys that turn it down. Some, I'm not going to say not a lot, but there's some. But then you got some females that might be like, you know what, say if a guy did turn it down and say, yo, I'm into my girl, blah, blah, blah. And this is what it is. You got some girls they might just be cool with them or whatever. But that weak moment that he has,
Mm-hmm.
she's going to take that opportunity more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I was saying when it comes to that. So I just really feel like how it starts, this is what makes it a little bit hard. It doesn't always have to be that case, because some people might not start like that, but majority of the time, if they start as one person liking the other person, it's going, if they do get that opportunity, and like you said, you see how you said, like, if you're not with somebody and you're single and then it might happen, same thing. Or even if you're in a relationship, if you still feel that way about that person and that opportunity comes along, it just might happen.
I don't know. I must speak for myself. I'm not jumping through that window. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's good. You feel like that. A lot of people don't feel like that, though.
Because keep in mind, if the person can reject you the first time, they can reject you the second time. Why put yourself in the way to be rejected the second time?
That's true too, but some people like rejections. How about that? They try harder. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's a whole nother topic right there. But it might, especially with guys are like natural hunters. So it's like, Shorty might reject them, like, but then it's like, given that opportunity, he might be like, oh, I'm going to take that. So,
Listen, he probably hunting in the small. I like to hunt in the jungle, not just in the small space. So when I'm hunting, I'm a proud Haitian. So we all know how Haitian brothers roll. We hunt in the jungle. So if one tell me no, I'm gonna find 2, 3 more that will say yes. Just look at the draw.
So my question to you: have you ever had a friend where, I know we talk about the friend zone, but have you ever had a friend where y'all was so close and you end up messing with her?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Now, when you met her, did she have a man?
Oh, we met when we were young kids, though.
Oh, okay.
Young kids. It was a scenario that our families do each other. So we were young kids, and then eventually we reconnected back in Brooklyn College many years ago, and that's how we ended up hooking up again and started talking, and then we messed around a bit. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing. It was hard when we broke up. It was hard to be like, oh, we can't be friends no more, because we were already friends before that happened.
Right.
Before we started messing up. So it's a little bit. My scenario is slightly different. So we grew up as young kids, and then we matured and became more intimate with each other, and then things didn't work out, and we went our separate ways, but we would still maintain the friendship because of that respect we had for each other for all those years of friendship we had prior. Right.
Okay.
So, it's hard for me to be like, oh, we can't be friends no more. But however, since she has a fiance now, and I'm seeing somebody, we try to make sure we keep that distance away from each other. We don't talk to each other every day. We keep that distance away from each other. Not because we may interact with each other, but it's just out of respect for the people we're with. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So we keep that, we get that distance strong. So, yeah. So,
see, me personally, I don't have no male best friends. I have guys that I grew up with, I knew it, and that I'm cool, but I don't have it. I had one guy that I was really cool with, but he likes the same thing I like. So, it's like, it wasn't like a threat to the guy I was dealing with, because like I said, he liked the same thing I like. But I don't, I listen, I'll keep it real funky with you. I'm an attractive female. I'm not going to say all guys are going to look at me. No. But, the ones that I did become cool with, 9 out of 10 looked at me a certain way. Growing up and all that. So that's why my perspective on it is a little bit different. Like I told you, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it's just, it's like, I would understand why my man would feel a certain type of way, because like I said, a lot of men in my life that I'm cool with, majority of them try to talk to me before I friend zone them. So it's a little different for me.
Okay. So the guy that you're seeing now, he has no issues. I mean, you have guys who you roll with, but not really best friends. Is he cool with even with that? aspect?
Well, I mean, because it's not. I'm not engaged in anything like that.
Hmm.
So nobody can really tell me anything. So once if it's like really really official, then that's different. So right now I don't have to answer to nobody.
Okay.
I really don't. But like once, like I said, if I was supposed to get once he would propose to me, to ask me to marry him, then if he would feel a certain type of way, I would respect him. Because I would understand, because I can't sit here and lie to him and be like, oh, nah, he's just no, because I know if I give him that opportunity, if I give them that opportunity, they're gonna take it. So that's what I was saying, because I know this off the back. I'm not gonna sit here and lie up front about it.
So basically, in other words, basically what makes a confirmation with you is if once you put the ring on the finger.
Yes.
Okay. Some females, I respect your opinion about that, but some females don't feel that way. They feel as if you reach a certain time period, then that's when it becomes serious, and therefore you got to cut everybody off. But you're saying as soon as you put the ring on the finger, that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. I had to be careful what I say in this podcast because someone does watch. So even though
I'm not listening. I'm not. I'm at an age where I think about it differently. I'm not mad. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, that's how I feel about it. If somebody else feels differently about it, I'm not knocking it. It's just me. That's how I feel about it.
No, I got you. But it comes to a point though. We reach a certain age that, as men, I'm speaking for me. We reach our late 30s and 40s. It looks kind of corny for us being players on the street. You know what I'm saying? So we reach the young girls now. I mean, what are we doing? So it takes a certain level of maturity to realize what you have in front of you and now make it serious.
Right.
But by the same token, you got to be careful who you choose as well. You may be with someone for 3 years, and they may not be the one that you marry, because there's something that's missing there that keeps you as a man putting a ring on her finger. Or there may be some that in the man that you see that you may not want him to propose to you or give you that ring on your finger. There's something just amiss. And I'm just one of those people who's like, listen, I'm doing marriage one time. I'm getting married one time. I feel
the same way. Oh my God. I feel at this point in my life, I feel the same way. I pray to God. I'm like, listen, once I get married, I hope it's just that one and done. So
I'm not with that. I'm not with that because a lot of people, I put it like this: they so hyped to get to that wedding, thinking the wedding is a marriage, and people don't realize that the marriage don't happen till you hit that rock in the road. What you gonna do about it? Are you gonna go to the door to exit, or are you gonna try to find a way to make it work, or make the compromise to make it work?
Right.
And that's what people don't realize. The marriage is how you hit that first bump in the road.
Yeah.
And then that's when you find out who if the female or the guy that you're with is ready to go in that trench with you, try to battle for the marriage, then you got the right one. But these days, the way I'm seeing is, still as soon as a bump in the road, they're like, oh, I need to leave this nigga. I need to leave this shorty. I'm ready to be out. That's not the way.
I feel a lot of people do that because they feel like they have a lot of options. We live in different times. Everybody is just doing what they want to do. There's not a lot of, like you said, there's not a lot of loyalty. There's not a lot of respect. So we just live in different times. So that's the problem right now. People they're not like ready to stick it out. They ready to say, you know what, I'll find somebody else. Like the grass is always green on the other side, and that's not true.
It's not true. And you just continue on the matrix of you go to see, oh, I like this chick. Oh, wait a minute, we'll go find another chick. And then by the time, by a big vibe, we reach 60 years old, and you're doing the same crap. And what happened? What happened? What's wrong with this guy? Why he can't get married? Why can't he settle with one female? What's wrong with him?
You know what's funny? When I was in my 20s, I met this Haitian guy, this older Haitian guy. He told me, he said, do you speak Creole?
Yeah.
He was like, if you meet a guy that's over 40 and he's not married, that means to get full. So I was like, really? So I had told my mom that. And my mother was like, I agree with him. But I'm like, but now when I look, I didn't 100% agree with him. But when I look at it, I'm just like, well, I don't know. Like, I have mixed feelings about that. I understood exactly what he said. Like, the guy might be very difficult because why is he over 40? He's not married. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's just like I said, we live in different times. It's not like how it was back in the days. He told me this. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I should tell my age, but he told me this many, many years ago. So, what do you think about that?
I agree with you that we do live in the different times.
Okay.
But by the same token, not just for the guy's aspect, but on the female's aspect, they live in the different times too, because maybe that guy who's 40 years old hasn't found the one that he feels comfortable enough to put that ring on that finger.
Right.
That's the flip side of it too. There's nothing wrong with that. If you have a mentality like me who wants to do it one time, you're going to take your time until you find that one. If you don't find that one, be like, oh, well, just deal with the aftermath of people talking about you and at the parties and mumble under their breath about you at the parties. You know how we.
So you are you okay with that? Like, if you don't see something wrong with that?
Honestly, I'm okay with it because of the time that we live in now.
Okay, now. Yeah. Females. If you meet a shorty that's over 40 years old, she's not married. How do you feel about that? Because I know what it comes to with male and female is like a double standard. So how do you feel about that?
To tell you, it is a double standard. And if female's not married by 40 years old, it's what's wrong with her? Like, what's wrong with her? Okay. Whereas a man, he's probably, like I said, you make excuses and stuff like that, but the same can be said about a man. What's wrong with him? Is he afraid of commitment? That's the number one question that comes out. Is he afraid of commitment? 2, does he still want to play the game and play around and be a playboy and stuff like that? The female is, what's wrong with her? You got people getting married these days at 20 years old talking about, I found the one. And, my father, was one of the biggest players in Haiti. And he told me a man not ready to marry until he entered 35 years old. Why get married?
That's a good age. That's not bad.
He said, why rush yourself in your 20s to get married, to be locked up? You got to protect your money, because, when you divorce, you'll lose that money.
Oh, my God.
You'll lose that money. So it's like you got to you got to get the player out of you in your 20s and 30s. Get it out of you. So when you reach a certain age, you can appreciate that one woman that you select to be your wife.
Right.
So how many people have I seen in my lifetime who got married in their 20s, got divorced?
Yeah.
So people got to take their time. But every person's time is different.
Yeah.
I realize everyone's timing is different. And even with the aspect of children, you're 40 years old. Yeah, you got no kids. What's wrong with you?
Well, you know what? Sometimes people look at that like a big red flag. How do you feel about that?
It's a red flag. It's a red flag. All I can say is it's a red flag. You just got to deal with it. Just got to deal with it. Any person got to deal with it. Whoever encounters that got to deal with it. But on the flip side is you got to deal with a man who doesn't have kids in his 40s. They're gonna like, what's wrong with him? But better but every time he probably dates a female who's over 30, probably has 1 kid already, maybe even 2, maybe 3 already. Probably got married. The other guy didn't do what he was supposed to do as a husband, and left her out there as a single mom of 1 or 2 kids or 3 kids.
Right.
And that ratio is more than often than it is not. So what do you select? Go?
You know what that's true, but you know what I find a lot of females who have kids, they don't want guys who have kids. I see that a lot. Like a lot of times when I'm on social media, that's like something like people always talk about. I'm a female who has 1 child. My son is grown. He's a grown man. I don't feel like that. You know, if I meet somebody over 40 that don't have no kids, I'm not saying that I wouldn't talk to them, but that's not something that I'm looking for either. You understand?
Right.
So if I'm single and I'm just saying for me, right? I always say this, and you know, my friends, they laugh at me when I say it. Like when it comes to like men and kids, I don't want to date. I never want to date a guy who has young kids. I have done it before. It's just not something for me. If I meet a guy with kids, I would rather them be a little bit older, because I feel that usually listen, they could be messing with their child's mother at any age. I'm not saying it like that, but I feel like when the kid is like younger, one like under 5. I'm just throwing 5 as a number. I feel that more than likely that they're still probably going back and forth. They don't have to be, but I feel like more than likely that they are. So when I would hear females that have kids and they say they don't want a guy with kids, I understand that. But I think differently. If I meet a guy that is over 40, I would want him to have kids, but I don't want him to have young kids, because I really feel like he's still probably dealing with the child's mother some way, somehow. That's how I feel about it. So I'm not one of those females who feel like that. How do you feel about that situation?
So the thing is, though, he's going to, if they're young kids, if they're under 18, he's still going to have to deal with the mother anyway.
Of course.
In the aspect of visitation, all that stuff. So they're always going to have some type of interaction. My flip side is what I've dealt with is I've dealt females with kids, and I don't have no kids. You know, maybe I have some walking around that I don't know about, but they told me that
hopefully not.
But they're like, are you looking to have kids? I'm like, I would like to. Before a few years ago, I was head on like, yeah, I still want to have kids, this, that, and the other. But I realized that they already have their kids. They already built their family with the children. Do they want to have another child with me just to appease me? And it comes with from what I've seen, it comes with a set rule, though. I would have to put on that ring on that finger before they even consider doing that.
Right.
So what I've dealt with on that aspect. So that in itself, again, that's a double standard as well.
Right.
So we live in a world of double standards. So we gotta adjust accordingly, but smartly, but intelligently, because we don't attack it intelligently. We may be making a wrong decision, end up with a crazy significant other. You know, we already heard about them stories, so we don't want to go there. You know our culture too. You gotta be careful of the crazy grandmother doing stuff in the basement and stuff. So we gotta be careful about that stuff.
I don't know nothing about that. I don't know. I'm God-fearing, honey. I don't know nothing about that.
You could be as God-fearing all you want. That is something that you gotta. My mom always told me, God rest her soul. She told me, I don't want you dating a Haitian girl. My mom was like, why? Because they do that voodoo stuff. My father looked at it and was like, yo, if that was the case, I wouldn't have married you. I was like, what you about? Let the boy do what he want to do.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. I'm one of those Haitians. Like I said, I'm God-fearing, so none of that. But, you know, I would always hear that growing up, but I get it.
No.
Back to what we was talking about at first. You know, relationships are very interesting, but I'm glad that, you know, we're having this topic, because from when I first brought it up, I had people still in my DM 2 or 3 days after. It was such a crazy conversation. It was ongoing, and you know, a lot of people felt so strong about it. Like I had one girl, I don't even know this girl. Like she was like, "Oh, I have a male best friend, and if I ever try to talk to him, he would feel a certain way. He look at me like his little sister." I said, "Oh, do he?" I was like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, and she felt strongly about it. So I was just like, okay, you know, and I said, listen, I'm not saying like it's all the way wrong. I'm just saying the way that I look at it, how to even start, I never said that male and females cannot be best friends.
Mm-hmm.
How I started, I said I can understand if my man would not want me to have a male best friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then from what we was talking about before is how it started.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm just speaking from me, from my perspective. Do I see something wrong with it? Not totally, but like I said, I am more strongly on the fence where it's hard for a female and a male to be best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I just said?
I understand what you said.
Okay. All right. So, because I had some people, like I said, there's some people that agreed with me because they probably feel like I was more on that side. And then some people disagreed, like, oh, like, because I really, like I said, a couple of days after, people were still in my DM, just talking about it. And, and I wasn't knocking them, but I was just saying from my perspective.
Right. It's crazy. It's crazy where we live in. But we talked about on the when we were DMing each other, we mentioned that if the female is listening to her best friend about what's going on and she feels more comfort in talking to him about serious matters in the relationship, maybe she should have never dated the guy that she was with and just pursued the relationship with the friend.
That's true. That's true. That is true.
Mm-hmm. So that in itself is like, but my like I said, if she's uncomfortable talking about her man about serious issues within the relationship, and she's talking to another person, another man, that's a problem for me because you can't come talk to me. And what are we doing? Like,
right.
What are we really doing?
This is why it sounds like it sounds so slippery because it's like, what side are you on? Because just exactly what you just said. If I have to run to my male best friend and always talk about what's going on in general, why do I have a man there for? My man should be my best friend. So it's just like I said, it's a crazy situation. It really is.
Do you rather him talk to his boys about it and his boys probably see who you are? But they'd be like, "Oh yeah, you should leave her." Meanwhile, his boys be like, "Yo, I want to get that. After he's done, I want to get that." We got some brothers who are like that too.
Right.
Bro code is destroyed.
I would rather him talk to his bros about it than him call one of his homegirls and she want to just console him. And while she console him, she want to rub his head too. I don't need that either.
Facts. And make sure if they ask you, advice for everybody: if you have a best friend who's opposite sex, and they ask you about your relationship, that's a red flag. Okay, right. Red flag. So you better tread carefully, and not better don't even try to tread that water. Right. Don't even tread that water. Because what you're going to do is, if you may have found someone that really fits you, understands your quirks and all that fun stuff, and you may ruin it because you entertained something else that your opposite sex best friend has told you.
Right.
Willpower is a motherfucker.
No, it
you gotta have a lot of willpower to keep yourself focused on the relationship that you're in, so it doesn't mess up. Because people invest years in a relationship, and it ends because of something small like that.
Right.
The inability to keep everything in house, even with your family members. You can't go tell your family members about your relationship either. You gotta keep that.
No, you can't.
Keep that like a closed vest. You know what I'm saying? So.
But sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. So you need somebody to let it out. But I learned that a long time ago. It's fine. It's good to have a friend to let it out to. But when it comes to relationships, sometimes it could be tricky because you break up with that person, you talk bad about that person, you're telling your best friend about that person, then you go back and then that person, your best friend might be like, "Oh, you stupid." You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you back with that person and everything like that? So that's right there. That's a bad situation. So,
yeah, I agree with that. But how do you feel about this? In my scenario, I was friends with my female. I told you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, when she friends on me, she didn't see me as boyfriend material. I wasn't assertive enough or whatever, what have you. And then I just recently told her I'm seeing somebody now. She's like, how long you been seeing somebody? I told her I've been seeing her for 3 years. She was like, for 3 years you didn't tell me? I'm like, was never your business. You never asked the question. So that was never your business. You know what I'm saying? I was taught from my mother and my aunt, old school Haitian women. Like, they told me straight up, don't offer women information. If they ask the question, answer it. If they don't ask you the question, don't give the information.
Okay, but see that? Okay, you see that reaction right there, right? She friends on you, but you were still cool with her, right?
Yeah.
But through that time, now she could have developed some feelings for you, because that shouldn't have been her reaction. Why was that her reaction? This is what I'm talking about. So this is why it's such a hard situation, because she could have been like, she could have been like, oh, okay, oh, you could have told me that's, but to have an attitude with it, why you having an attitude with it if we're just friends? So that doesn't make sense. You understand what I'm saying?
Doesn't make sense. I wouldn't say she had an attitude, but she did mention the fact that she mentioned, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, what? It just blew my mind. I was like,
I'm sorry, somebody else is talking.
Okay, got you. So it just blew my mind. I was like,
yeah.
I just kept it pushing, kept talking, whatever.
Yeah.
That for me, that was kind of weird. So as far as when you friend zone somebody, there's a way to friend zone them to keep that door open. Okay. It's not the right thing to do, but it will prevent that situation from even developing.
Right.
Because you done shot somebody, you basically took out the shotgun and just bust 4 shots at me, and you acted funny now because I moved on with somebody else. Right. What did you expect me to do? Sit there and wait for you? Sit there.
Probably. Because like I said, that shouldn't have been her reaction, period. So, I mean, okay, now, are you still cool with her?
We're still cool to a degree, but I don't reach out to her all the time.
Right.
No. I'll say, hey, what's up? How you doing? And like one, 2 texts. That's it. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, there was just one of those situations. I take that shit personal. That's just me. I take that personal. I'm arrogant. I'm like, I should not ever be friend zoned. I'm a top dog, so you know what I'm saying. I don't like getting friend zoned. And for me, it's like I like when you said about the hunt. I'll hunt to a degree. But when I see another fish, it's time for me to go hunt that fish. I'm not going to invest my time in hunting this fish. Another fish is dead, ready to be cooked and cleaned and put on the fryer. You can't do that.
Right.
So that's the way I move. You know what I'm saying? That's the way, I guess, upbringing pretty much taught me to be that way. You know what I'm saying? Don't chase. You could chase a little bit, but don't chase too long because there's always more out there. So jump on the next thing that you feel comfortable with, or that you feel that can make you happy. Albeit scenarios was different, you know what I'm saying? But it's all about happiness, and that's what I'm choosing this to seek is happiness.
Right.
So people need to be but before you enter any relationship, you got to learn how to be happy with yourself first.
I absolutely agree with that. But a lot of people are looking for people to make them happy, and that's not the case. You definitely have to love yourself first before you enter a relationship.
And that's where people get it all wrong. And then you start pointing blame at the guy, pointing blame at the girl, and they realize you on Facebook dropping subliminal posts and stuff like that. Everyone knows
Facebook. Who's on Facebook? They on Instagram. Not stop.
Oh, they're everywhere. Anywhere, ever. They're even on Twitter.
Right.
They're even on Twitter. Like, God damn it. I'd be like, damn, you talking about that same person again? Bro, let it go. Let it go.
They be hurt.
And I'll be telling some of my friends, some of my relatives too. I'm like, something that you did is the reason why she got up and left you.
Right.
Something that you lacking. Since you want to sit there and listen to your close homeboys or close family members about how to think you're a player. Right. I'm telling you what she saw. So yes,
Mhm.
it's a very good conversation we're having here, Nadia. Definitely. And I wish you were there when I did my episodes on sacrament of marriage. It was beautiful. I had like married couples, single people. I had everybody on the podcast. It was a beautiful thing. And I mentioned the stages in a relationship with a man and woman, or man, woman, or woman and woman, man on man. Because I got to be sensitive to the community. You know, I
Right,
got to
right,
be sensitive to them.
right.
I will not say what I usually call them. I'm not going to say it's not a bad word, but I said alphabet community. But you know, but I got to keep it clean. I don't want to get canceled.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yes,
50%.
yeah. So basically, I just said that the stages in a relationship. There's a first stage in a relationship where you're talking. You're talking. And it all depends. There's no time limit. There's never a time limit on anything when it comes to relationships. There's never a time limit.
Right.
Then you got the dating aspect. You know, you're dating, trying to feel if you guys can be together. Then you got the boyfriend girlfriend aspect. They got the boyfriend girlfriend aspect. That's 3 stages already. You get to the 4th stage, which is fiance. And then once you get to the fiance stage, you're becoming husband and wife. You're not married yet, but you're husband and wife. And it's the reason why I say it is this: you don't become husband, you don't truly become a marriage, like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, until you hit that bump in the road.
Right.
You're still in the honeymoon. You're still in the honeymoon period until that bump in the road comes. Now, what you gonna do when that bump in the road happens? Well, I mentioned what that's 6 stages.
Yeah.
Or just about. Yeah. And it's funny. I'll be watching females on Facebook. Oh, he got to be ready to marry me within 2 years. I'm like, good luck with that.
But you know what? If you look at, let me say it the right way. If you look at other communities, a lot of times that's how they do it. If you understand what I'm saying.
I understand what I'm saying. I understand what you're saying.
You know, because they want to make sure that, you know, you have a good job or you have a career, you know, if your status is on point and everything like that. After 2 years, they like, yo, what's up? After a certain age. So it's not when you hear females say that, it didn't just come out of nowhere, because if you look at other race, a lot of times that's how they do it.
But wouldn't that be an arranged marriage, or that's just how they do it in other races?
Not necessarily arranged marriage. It's just like, you know, because if you speak to other people, 9 out of 10 they're going to say the same thing. So I don't really. When I meet other race, I'm not saying that they won't be with somebody 5 or 10 years, but after a certain age, that's not something that they're gonna do. They're gonna like, I was dating a person for like 2 or 3 years, and then the person proposed to me. But this is how they feel like it's supposed to go.
Okay. Good point. Gee, I can't even come back on that. You have I could come back on
seriously,
that.
because I would hear that a lot, So unfortunately, they would say that a lot of us African American females is, we might not look at it like that, which is it's I don't think that's true, but I see what people are talking about when they say that, because like I said, when you speak to other race, they'll tell you like, no, 9 out of 10.
Is it because that they don't see the guys that they're with stable enough to be that husband?
Yeah, because they don't play. Like a lot of times they want to know, like, if you're not up to their standards, they 9 out of 10 they might not even deal with you.
Okay.
This is why a lot of times when you
go ahead.
Keep it real. When you meet them, they be like, "What is your name? What do you do?" Now, when we meet up with each other, do we ask that question?
No, we don't ask that question.
Okay, that's what I'm just saying. So
no, we don't ask that question.
Yeah.
It's a sensitive question to ask our people, to be honest with you. It really is. That's why. That's why it's that. That's why we don't ask that question, because it's a very sensitive question to ask our people.
Why is it sensitive to ask some people?
I listen. I've seen some females ask guys what do they do, and the guys were really defensive about what they do. Oh, you trying to get my pockets already? What's going on? You trying to get to my pockets?
Right.
And there's always that defensive mechanism.
Right.
That happens.
I know, it's just funny but this is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, a lot of times when they meet, when they meet the person that they want to talk to, that's like that question is asked off the back.
So definitely, this has been a great podcast. Too bad we started off a little bit without.
It's okay.
But I must say, we gotta do a part 2 to this. I gotta have my brother Joey G up in there. He's a married man. Bring him into this. Whoever you want to bring into this, let's do it. We're gonna get him.
Oh, listen, I have somebody else that I definitely want to bring into. So,
Yeah.
Let's make it spicy.
Oh yeah, I Chanto.
Yes.
Oh my God, here we go. He knows we'll get saucy up in here. I got two Haitian women in the same podcast. Jesus Christ, right. Be saucy.
Yeah,
be saucy. Why is it? I'm gonna change the subject. Why is it an issue when two Haitian people get together? They don't like. I don't want to do Haitian women. Like, I don't want to do with a Haitian man. You got a Haitian man. So I don't want to do with a Haitian woman. What's up with that? What's wrong with our people?
That's messed up, because honestly, I'm one of them. To be honest with you, I dealt with a Haitian guy for 7 years, but he was like me, more Americanized. We both was born here, but our parents are from Haiti. I don't know. It's just, I'm not against it, but that's not what I feel like it's nice when you date somebody, that's from like your culture, because y'all could share a lot of things. So it's not a bad thing, but I was never the one to really date Haitian men. I'm not against it, but that just wasn't me. But people feel like that. I had this girl I was working with. She's her family's Guyanese, and she'll tell you straight up she doesn't date Guyanese guys, but that's because when she was growing up, she seen her uncles and all that, like how they were. But I feel like, I'm like, it's messed up. But I said, a lot of guys are like that. It's not like a race thing or anything like that. But that was her thing that she went through, that she felt a certain type of way, So even though she's Guyanese, she'll tell you straight up she doesn't want to mess with no Guyanese dudes because of the experience that she's seen growing up with her family members. So I think this is why a lot of people say that they won't mess with their own kind.
Right.
I mean, it sounds so messed up and racist, but honestly, that's one of the reasons why people say that.
I got you. It's fair. I mean, upbringing has a lot to do with it, I must say. But I'm all with it. I'm like, if I see an Asian girl, and it feels right, let's do it. If it's a Jamaican girl, let's do it. It has to feel right altogether. But with me, I got to make sure they're not related to me. Make sure they're not an old cop, not from Kai. I'm good. As long as not in those two areas, I'm good.
Exactly.
So that's all I can say about it. Listen, Nadia, it's been a pleasure with you having you on the podcast. I want you back on it again to continue this subject again. I think we could ask.
We need to talk about that though. That right there is. Yeah, that's a lot, because I meet a lot of people that feels like that. So maybe we'll talk about that the next time.
Absolutely. Listen, everyone, you can listen to the podcast on Joey G Radio, Spreaker, Spotify, Anchor. You can watch it on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook pages, as well as iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn Radio. And any final words, Miss Nadia?
Listen, it was a pleasure, and I'll see you back here.
Definitely. All right, everyone. It's your man Big Dom. We sign off on this podcast. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.
Bonne nuit. Bye.
Bye.